In this part of the Sec 1 algebra that you have been doing, it's quite uh, to the end of the algebra. So eventually we use algebra to solve a word problem. Okay, so in this section, right, we're going to explore how are we going to use algebra to solve word problem. So first of all, the main idea will be if I want to solve word problem, like the kind of word problem that you see in primary 6. So we're not going to do it by the model method. We're going to make them into linear equation, and then we solve. Solve is like finding the values of x that you have been doing so far. Okay, so generally that we got the main steps to try to solve using algebra. So this idea, right, will be the same as you as you move on to Sec 2 or even Sec 3. So the idea of problem solving with your algebra is always the same idea. It can be applied across all other topics like angles, area, subsequently any other things that you learn. So in Sec 2, you'll be learning new stuff like you never heard before, like something called Pythagoras theorem. So that one is also algebra based. So as you learn more things, you will be using algebra to solve more things. So it doesn't restrict to this topic. It can be applied to angle, which most probably may be your next topic. And the second half of the year, you're going to learn area and perimeter. So this will be under area and perimeter as well. That means using algebra in area and perimeter. So the basic steps will be, okay, the thing that you need to find out, the unknown. That means there must be something that is unknown in the problem solving. So that unknown, you got to define it by algebra. So the typical algebra will be X. But sometimes, okay, or it can be Y or it can be Z. But sometimes the question will give you the algebra already. So if the question gives you algebra, please follow the algebra. Okay, don't go and change it. Unless the question never gives you any algebra, then feel free to have your own algebra. But we usually stick to X, Y, Z. So there may be more than one unknown. There can be other unknown. So this one must also have algebra. So there can be one unknown or two unknown. The unknown must have algebra. Okay, the hardest part is actually to form an equation. So that is the hardest part. If you can form the equation based on the information given, then the subsequent one is just solving. Solving is like the technique that you learn in the previous teaching worksheet. The one that you add numbers on both sides. You subtract something on both sides, divide something by both sides, and multiply something on both sides. Okay, lastly, you will answer the question, but this is the one that usually a lot of students will forget to do. So remember, it's like story sound. So you remember to respond to it accordingly. So reply them how the question is asking you. Okay, so I repeat. So step 1 and step 2, if there's any unknown, that unknown must be represented by algebra. Then you form an equation. After the forming, things are easy. It's the solving. Okay, and answer the question. So before I show you a variety of example, okay, let me explain some basic terminology first. So sometimes you will see the big word consecutive. So essentially consecutive means next to each other. So like all the students are seated consecutively on the bench. So they are seated next to each other on the bench. Consecutive integers means whole number that are next to each other. So for example, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are the consecutive numbers that are next to each other. And they always got a difference of +1. Okay, consecutive even integers, there is just even integers, even whole numbers that are next to each other. Okay, so example will be like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's always a difference of +2. Okay, consecutive odd integers, these are just odd whole numbers that are next to each other. So example 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. They also have a difference of +2. So odd numbers and even numbers, they have a difference of +2. Only consecutive integers has a difference of +1. Okay, so sometimes there will be story sum that deals with profit. Profit is how much you earn. So how much you earn. So basically profit will be total selling price minus total cost price. So a lot of time, the total selling price is the one that where it's quite difficult to identify in the question. So total selling price is identify something by quantity times price. So later on, there will be a question. There will be some questions that deals with quantity times price. How many you buy and what is the unit price? So it's a transaction kind of question, money type of question. Okay, so this will be the basic idea first. Then I'm going to show you a variety. The first type that I'm going to show you is the very, very basic type. So make sure you can master the basic type. So the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 171. So the sum of 3 consecutive odd. So here we are dealing with consecutive odd. So just now we mentioned about consecutive numbers. So they always got a difference of +2. And I'm supposed to find 3 unknown. So I'm going to let X be the first, or rather be the smallest odd integer. So this one will be the first one, second one, third one. Okay, so if that is my smallest one, okay, then the next one will be a +2. Then the next one will be a +2. Okay, so then you got to identify. Then you let X plus 2 be the second odd integer. And X plus 4 be the biggest odd integer. So essentially this one is the first one. First one is the smallest, second one, and then this is the third one. So there are 3 unknown. So you identify all the 3 unknown first, then you form the equation. So the forming the equation, okay, please try to follow the steps. Okay, so this is the define part. After that, we're going to form the equation. So like I mentioned, it's the most difficult. So some students in some complex question, you can't even use the information. In this case, right, sum means you add up. So if you're going to add up the 3 integers, it will be equal to 171. The word is represent equal. So if I'm going to add up, that means I add up the 3 integers here, these 3, I will be getting 171. X plus X plus 2 plus X plus 4, that will be 171. So if you write this successfully, your teacher will give you method mark. And then subsequently, you're going to solve. So subsequent, you go and solve. I'm going to show you the solving stage. Solve means you find your value of x. So you do the same thing like what you have done. So in this case, I subtract 6 on both sides. So fourth step, I will solve it successfully. So don't stop here. A lot of students will just stop here. Your job is to answer them. What are the 3 integers? So you think about x is 55. Then x plus 2 will be 55 plus 2. And then x plus 4 will be 55 plus 4. So the 3 integers are 55, 57, and 59. Of course, you can try checking backwards. So you try add up 55, 57, and 59. You should get back 171. Okay, so this one is a very simple one. Okay, so this kind of simple one, you make sure you are okay with it.